Hey guys, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Brooke and I'm currently posting everything pregnancy related. So if you're interested in pregnancy related videos, then please support my channel by subscribing. So this video is going to be about baby mapping. Chances are you found this video because you went to the doctor or you had an ultrasound and you were told that your baby is transverse or breech. And that's kind of alarming, but there's ways that this can be fixed, and a lot of babies keep turning and changing positions until their due date. So don't freak out about the baby's position right now. So baby mapping is basically a technique that's used by more midwives and before ultrasounds were as common or reliable as they are today. Also for fun, to figure out the position that your baby's laying in. So we're going to do it eventually. We're going to map out the position and you can do it along with me, and I'll be explaining ways to find out how your baby's laying. A lot of people like to do this with a partner or like a friend or a family member, and it just makes it kind of fun. So it's also a good baby shower thing to do. So you might want to keep it in mind for that. I want to mention that baby mapping is not to be replaced by doctor's advice or advice from a professional. You should never use baby mapping as a reliable source. This is kind of just more for fun. And yeah, it's just for fun. So don't try to take it as being like medically professional advice. This is just kind of for peace of mind and something to do while you're pregnant. I'm pretty sure that you know that there's different positions your baby could be laying in, like given all the cakes you've been taking. But the most ideal is a cephalic position, and that's where your baby is head down. There's different types of head down where they're facing your spine or facing forward. We're not going to get into it in this video. This is just more for baby mapping, but we're going to go over a few basics before we actually map. We mentioned cephalic, and that's where your baby's head down. If we really want to get into the breech positions, there's also frank breech, and there's also the footling breech. We cannot forget about the good old complete breech. There's also transverse, and that's where your baby is laying sideways across your stomach. And then there's oblique, where your baby's laying diagonal across your stomach. If you have found out that your baby is laying in a non-ideal birthing position, there's ways that your doctor might mention to you later about how to turn the baby. That's called an EVC, or an external cephalic version. And that's basically where they will go in and probably use an ultrasound and a heart Doppler and try not to stress your baby out while they manually turn your baby from the outside by like pushing and encouraging that baby to flip. Actually, they're not going to encourage it, they're going to kind of force the baby to turn. I went to school for pregnant and parenting teens. This was in 2005, 2004 even, when I was pregnant. And everyone talked about baby mapping. It was something we did in class for fun, and a doula came in and taught us about it. I forgot about it. I always kind of mapped, but it came in handy when I was pregnant with my third, and she was a complete breech. I was terrified, and I was determined to not have that done. I don't want to like scare people or give my opinion on that, because everyone's going to choose to do what's best for themselves, and I felt like avoiding it was best for myself. It's super beneficial for a lot of people, so I'm not trying to make you have doubts on that at all. I came across this website called Spinning Babies that talked about mapping, and it also gave really good advice on how to encourage the baby to turn at home just naturally. And I was doing those things like every single day, and I was using baby mapping as a way to see if she's turned, and I actually left the map up. So I kind of charted it out and made a color key and used different washable marker colors if I felt her moving and shifting throughout the day, and I would just remark that and know, okay, this is working or this is not working. By the way, I used an ice pack, like peas, cold peas, and set it right on her head, and she slowly turned. Okay, so we're gonna get into the mapping, and I just want to point out that this is not going to work for all people, depending on your size, your weight, the baby's position, the position of your placenta. You may or may not be able to feel where your baby is. If your baby's facing your spine and you don't get a lot of like hits on the front where we'd feel it more, or if your placenta's in the front, you won't feel it as much either. So it might be a little bit hard. So don't be discouraged. Your baby's fine. Like, it's okay. They're going to tell you at the end of your pregnancy, they'll probably do an ultrasound before you give birth to make sure that the baby is in the correct birthing position. This is kind of just for fun. So keep that in mind. I'm going to move the camera down so you guys can see what I'm doing. So what you're going to do is take your marker or your eyeliner or lip liner or whatever it is that you're going to use, something non-toxic, of course, and we're going to split the belly in two from the belly button up like this. So there's the first line that you want to do, and the next line is also going to be across the stomach, cutting it into fours, and it's going to be where the middle point is in the belly button. I kind of went above, but it's okay. So you have these quadrants now, and you're going to think about where you feel certain movements. So any movements that are really strong, like the strongest kicks, you're going to assume that they're kicks because they're the strongest, and those little tiny hands probably aren't as strong. So for me, my baby has been giving me really strong kicks right here. So I'm going to put an X because this is for where I feel what I think are kicks. It's the strongest movements. Any sort of like little sliding feelings or something that feels a little bit softer or smooth, you're going to take note of that too. So I feel smooth movements here, and also about here, and a lot down here. So I'm just going to wave the whole bottom. Now we are going to think about if your baby gets hiccups, and this is always the best way for me to determine. If you feel hiccups from the belly button down, your baby is most likely head down. Because if you think about when you hiccup, you kind of like bob a little bit. It's from the stomach and your head will follow. Those little babies have weak necks. So I'm going to use a plus mark for where I feel, and this is actually way lower. Like I'm not going to show all that on camera, but I feel this, like the hiccups here, you know? So it's super, super deep in there. I feel lots of little waves down here. The strong kicks are here. And I also feel like there's something that slides, like a knuckle rubbing around right in my belly button. So when I think about what that is, it's probably a little knee or an elbow. So I'm gonna put a circle around my belly button because I won't even feel it like inside unless if I'm touching my stomach, and then I'll feel something slide over my fingertips, and I'm like, wow, like that has to be a little knee, maybe an elbow, very pokey and round. So I'm putting a circle there. If you have a Doppler, then you can also tell a little bit more of where the heart is. So if you get any Doppler pickups, I'm gonna put hearts down here. If you get any Doppler readings, or if you remember from your last OB visit, if they found the heartbeat below the belly button, that's another way to kind of determine where your baby is, and that baby would be head down. So that's the way you map your belly. Just given what I have here, you want to take everything into consideration and picture your baby, you know, inside. You're getting the strong kicks up top. I'm thinking that my baby today, because he moves around, is having his butt over here. And when you get a little bit more familiar with your body, or like being pregnant, this is, like I said, my 5th pregnancy, so I've been doing this for a long time. I can actually feel his little butt over here, and a smooth round back. Like this is really hard and round, whereas this side is more squishy. So, and it's more open, so where I can feel the round back here. And I'm guessing that his knees are bent in, so this is probably a knee that I'm feeling, that rolling ball. And his feet are probably kicking up here to my ribs. Like I said before, his hiccups are way down in here. That's what gave me the reassurance that my baby is head down. And he's been like this for a good week. I had an ultrasound done 2 weeks ago, and he was still laying transverse across my stomach, and he had been in that position since maybe the 16th week. So I was like, please don't get too comfortable. But after that ultrasound, he heard mama's cries and he has gone head down. I'm super excited about that because they were already mentioning getting a C-section, which is okay too. And if that's what it was, then that's, you know, what it was gonna be. Okay, so I'm gonna go wash my belly off. If you enjoyed this video, then don't forget to give it a thumbs up.